This is our second Music Ally Digital Day of the Great Escape, so I'd like to thank the Great Escape for having us back again. I've got to do the sales pitch quickly, haven't I? Just in case you don't know who we are, Music Ally is a company, I guess, kind of dealing in how business models are changing within the music industry, understanding them, and advising companies, whether that's the likes of Orange and Tesco in terms of how they use and sell music, right through to training labels at the other end of the spectrum, like Universal and EMI, on bringing their staff more up to speed with what digital means for their business. But that's the sort of core focus, digital really. And we do have a publication, and if any of you would be interested in having a look at that, give me your business cards and I'll put them in my free trial pocket and try and remember to give you a free trial, or just visit the website anyway at musically.com. You can sign up there. And we do special rates for smaller, non-corporate megalith operations. So, do speak to us about that. Anyway, today, I'm really delighted. We've got a very varied and very distinguished lineup, I think, today. The focus is on the new music business, chasing rainbows. The idea really is there a pot of gold, or kind of fool's gold at the end of the day, in terms of the new ways in which music can be distributed, whether that's directly, artists going direct, bypassing labels altogether, whether it's taking funding from other sources, how they use online media, all of these issues, how they work with brands indeed, the role of advertising. All these new potential sources of revenue, whether they need to change their whole models of how they operate. That's the kind of focus that we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be kicking off in a second with some consumer research, which Music Ally's sister company, The Leading Question, has carried out recently, which gives us a big picture of what's going on. And then we're going to be moving into a keynote interview with Terry McBride, who we're delighted to have here from Network, and Jeremy Silver from Surveillance, an old hand of new media. We'll be interviewing him, and then we'll go straight into a panel session after that, and ending that at about 12:10. So basically running half an hour late, and then we'll be picking that up after lunch. So afternoon sessions will start at 1:30, but basically we're running half an hour late from now. So I am going to hand over to Tim Walker from our sister company, The Leading Question. And as I say, he's going to be showing you some conclusions from some recent consumer research that we've done, and some thoughts about what we think it all means for all of us. Tim.
Thanks, Paul, and good morning, everybody. I think that officially makes me the warm-up guy, but try not to heckle too much. So The Leading Question is a consumer research agency, and much like Music Ally, our sister company, we focus on digital. Obviously, there are related issues in terms of transition from physical purchase to digital, and also the use of audio-visual to go alongside music content. But digital is what we do, and consumers who we talk to. These are some of the clients we work with, as you'll see from quite a range there across the value chain, ISP, retail, major label, broadcasters. We also work with mobile handset manufacturers. So we get a good flavour of what's going on right across the digital value chain and all the different issues that those companies are facing. And what we do is try and provide consumer insights to help inform their digital strategies. Speakerbox is our annual flagship project. It's the third year that we're presenting and talking about results today, 2007. We're about to start recruitment for 2008's project, which will take place this autumn. So if anybody's interested, I'll do another quick plug at the end. But do get in touch with either Paul or myself. We'll give you details at the end, and we can talk to you about possible participation for this year's study. It's a face-to-face survey of over 800 music fans held in the UK, and we ran it in late autumn 2007. And what we do in this study is combine both tick-box survey questionnaires with focus groups that we run across all the regions. And that gives us some hard statistics to base decisions around. It also gives us an insight into the kind of emotional and attitudinal behaviours that are behind some of that activity that's going on. Just to say very briefly, you may have seen some of the press yesterday when we released exclusive with The Guardian yesterday, got some picking in the trade press. There was a bit of mention around speaker bots that you might have seen, which obviously we're quite pleased with. And today we're going to be presenting just a small excerpt of the data from that. It is commercially sensitive, it is proprietary data, but the clients that are subscribed have kindly allowed us to share some of that with you today. What I'm going to talk about today are four sort of key areas. One is what we're calling sort of beware the digital dabblers. And one of the clear things that came through in terms of the study was, we talked a few years ago about 50 quid now, and this person would go out and buy 5 or 6 CDs, have that kind of disposable income, which was driving a lot of high street retail. What we've seen very clearly from the digital studies is that type of behaviour is not translating into digital. What we're finding is lots of trying, but less consistent buying there. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But there are big implications for that. If all we're doing is getting lots of people to dabble and just try a little bit of legitimate downloading, it's not the same as migrating people directly from physical into a digital purchasing pattern. A la carte. There's a lot of talk about a la carte and the model that's really been conditioned and driven by iTunes. We're not saying it's the end of a la carte. What we're saying in our research is that there needs to be more than a la carte. A la carte has certainly built the digital market that we see today, but there is more about it. When we do talk to consumers about a la carte, though, it raises a lot of issues about the value of digital music as opposed to physical purchase. So when they've got the CD, when they've got the material that goes with that, in the consumer's minds, the two are not the same. So to price them at the same level gets it wrong from a consumer perspective. And what we're going to talk about and show you is that really, for the a la carte model, that let's talk about £5 for an album, let's talk about 50p for a track, they are the magic numbers that come up in focus groups and the consumers talk to us about. So at the very least, address that difference between physical and digital before you then move on to other models. And that leads us into subscription. And we'll show you some stats and some numbers around subscription models, both the models that are in the market today, or the model that's in the market today, but also some other ideas around subscription. And what we're concluding there, as we'll show you, is that model needs to change, it needs to evolve. And then finally, I'm going to come on to a 5-point plan, which summarises some of the roadmaps, some of the signs that we can see in terms of taking the industry forward. And that's something that Music Ally and the Legal Question works on, jointly using the consumer research, but also using Music Ally's market insights to create that 5-point plan. So we've talked a little bit about 50 quid now, and so beware the digital dabblers. So that slide is up there to look at, and I think the clearest, the most interesting thing that comes through from that is that as many people in our survey have tried legitimate paid-for downloading as have tried file sharing. So 28% of the survey have file shared ever, and 28% have ever paid for a download. What you can then see, though, is quite a difference when you look at who carries on doing what on a regular basis. And of the 28% that file share, 22% of those do that on a regular basis, whereas we see a much bigger drop-off in the paid-for downloading numbers. Some of the reasons, some of the insights that we get from our focus groups tell us that there is disappointment with legitimate downloading sites. Not so much in the iTunes world. iTunes works, it's an ecosystem. Consumers buy their iPod, they plug it in, they're stripped through to iTunes, they're through to the iTunes store. That works. It doesn't necessarily excite them, but it works. And you don't have to be particularly technically aware to work with that product set. When you get beyond iTunes, what you hear a lot of is, well, I don't actually know whether I downloaded from H&B or Tesco. I actually used Google, and I went through and I downloaded a track. I don't actually know where it came from. Next time, I'll go back to Google or another search engine, search for a different artist, and maybe go through to a different download site. So beyond iTunes, not a lot of consistent branding coming through from other downloading services. We see a spike in downloads when iPods and other MP3 players are first purchased. They're the kind of honeymoon period, if you like.